Okay, sure. Why would you ever pick Juggernaut?
Looks awesome. This hero has some of the best cosmetics in the game.
The battle begins.
I'll take that, honestly.
That
is the best argument I've heard for Juggernaut in a while.
You think I'm memeing, but I actually think that is a large reason why eventually pro players pick this hero.
Это
Because
просто,
they just enjoy looking at the hero and playing the hero, and he's kind of cool. And then about 20 minutes into the game, you remember why you haven't played this hero in a long time. You go, yeah, that's why. I will also say, Our World Staff ruins this hero.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
That has to be one of the most absurd neutral item counters I've ever seen in Dota 2. Because, okay, Synderen is notorious for complaining about neutral items. He's notorious for complaining about neutral items that he feels counter specific heroes.
Yeah, he does hate that.
You cannot play Juggernaut in Outworld Staff. It is an automatic Omni/disjoint. It's just disgusting. So
that's what I was saying, man. Last game, I said OD staff sometimes is just overpowered.
I don't think the hero is unplayable though. He can be pretty spooky if he has a decentish start. Omni/, can do a lot of damage. In man fights many carries. Healing Ward does give you still good Roshan and high ground potential. There's no easy way to kill the Healing Ward. This is a hero that can cause Ember some big problems. I think that's one of the big factors as to why it was picked up here. You look at the style that Ember plays into this hero, it just sucks. You just push with Jug, you have Healing Ward, you slight, you chain, you do a bunch of attrition. He doesn't care. He just forces the timing, forces the objectives. Can be a tough play style for the Ember Spirit in particular. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. There's not a lot of really good burst damage on the side of Team Spirit outside of this off-lane Queen of Pain, which came out for Collapse. Kind of another wild card in itself, right? Can be a good matchup versus the Jug because it gives you the burst damage. Really can't ever spin on this hero. The lane's completely fine for the Queen of Pain. Not worried about any of those aspects. But outside of this Sonic Wave Infest burst, the Ember's not giving you a lot to follow that up with. So in some ways it can be a fairly good Juggernaut game for Ame. Of course it is Ame, so see what he can do with it in his hands. He honestly, I think, had a pretty good Monkey King game in the previous game. I think he played fine and he got a decent amount of farm. The lane phase could have gone better, but I don't think I've ever looked at Ame as a lane dominating carry, so it's fine to forsake a little bit of that snowball for some more scale secure. Follow it up here.
I guess we'll see if it works. I'm concerned to say this, especially when you pull this out in like a game 2 scenario when you already lost game 1. It is a very different draft. We do have a very different draft on both sides. What do you think Xtreme Gaming took from game 1 and said, okay, here's what we need to do better for game 2?
Maybe more initiation and playmaking options. Like they brought like Tiny for Zinke, which you can use also a little bit of a lane liability.
Snowball after Wilson. Wilson is going to die. Got off the blood grenade at the last second, but Collapse is not going to die to that. So it's just going to be first blood for the off-lane Queen of Pain. We've seen this Queen of Pain moving around a bit.
Oh, it's a straight flex hero. This hero is just strong. It's very hard to fight him in the early game. Sonic Wave is always going to be a good spell in the team fight. I think the off-lane Queen of Pain has been underplayed a little bit in the past few months in general. We might see more of it. I believe it. I don't think this is that off color here for what Spirit are showing. If anything, I kind of believe in the Lifestealer a bit more, but maybe I'm just a bit biased there. When you're talking about how much you hate Juggernaut, I think Lifestealer is not far off. The hero definitely has more utility and offers a lot more, but yeah. I'm a notorious Lifestealer hater, so I'll put my bias into that equation very readily. That said, maybe the most interesting pick in this draft is the support time. He went back to this melee forward for Xinkyu. He likes this playstyle. He likes the roaming, you know, the melee guys who are going to cause a bunch of disruption, scale super well into the game if they get a lot of farm. But again, a big lane liability in this early game. He's kind of just wandering around, not finding his mark. I think in these games where you don't know where to go on this floor, or the mid game doesn't feel easy, you have to go to your safe lane. Like, you have to just go to that pseudo tri lane, get 1 or 2 kills going, put some pressure on, and then you can play off the reaction it forces out of Spirit. Because that is the one reliable lane you can almost always gank with this roaming forward. It doesn't mean you're not there the whole time, but you have to get the ball rolling in order to free up some ink elsewhere on the map. I just haven't seen Jin go to this lane in either game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because they do have a combo. They do have Avalanche, Toss into Arrow. It's like something you could actually wait a minute.
Well, they don't have Arrow because they didn't skill it.
Wow, okay.
But I still think you can just go and kill this lane. Like, you just spin on collapse, he's gonna blink and run behind him with a tiny. If you have a deep lane ward, you have the kill. And I think Jug is one of those heroes that you can try lane for. He doesn't need insane early levels. He just needs a good start CS-wise to get into the Battle Fury. Or the Mjolnir when it was the Mjolnir pattern. But we will be seeing Ame go for the Battle Fury here. So you're fine try lane with this hero. He's not bad. Right now, XSF, he's cutting top. Spirit are aware of this. But not much Poshka can do about it on his own. So this is the freedom that Jinkyu has in this game, right? The Kuka's being left alone. It's a little sacrificial. Can you make up for it? He's just been eyeing mid. It's putting some pressure on Laurel, who's already feeling the pain in this one-on-one matchup. I don't mind
with
this.
the tag team, Torrent isn't going to land. XXS is in real trouble. Blocked in, and no chance of TV out because Snowball, so Yutaro comes in to help collect the kill. Neither one of the heroes actually got the last hit. It's the creeps that take it, so bounty evenly split amongst the three of them.
And they are really committing towards the pressure on this mid lane. It will get the power room for XM. Nice pickup here with this catapult still going to the mid tower. Maybe opt to tank this, keep it alive. Jinkyu though.
Toss away back into XM. Snowball right back into play on top of Jinkyu. Helps get the kill, but it does result in a trade-off. Jinkyu goes down first. Full 4 positions end up falling.
This is mega work for XG. This catapult was alive the entire time. So much tier 1 tower damage. Still not hitting 6 because everyone's brought into the skirmish. They got a decent amount out of this SF versus the Ember bit. Full level and a half. Big net worth disparity. You're going to get this early tower down. This is the lane that XG can play through in this game. We've seen some really strong Shadowfiend games in this recent patch. This hero's come back with a force. Just playing off early Blink, early Kyle, a lot of early spell damage. Just slay everybody. You can get these games where you're 10-0, 12-1, whatever it is, and just dominate.
Yeah.
That's the playstyle around this hero that I want to see more. And not this kind of slow AFK farm playstyle.
Especially for heroes that all have some sort of escape mechanism, right? You've got Rage, you've got Ember jumping back to his Remnant, you've got but if you get to the point where you have Kaya Yasha, and you even have the Aghanim Scepter, you do the precast, right? Where you cast it first and then you blink in afterwards for the instant fear. That could definitely catch, you know, some of these heroes that are reliant on their mobility. Snowball onto Ame, but at the same time, the Avalanche onto Collapse. Joe doesn't get a blink away. A sliver of HP. Brew, not so lucky. Tried to go for a sharp blade here. Cut down by an arrow from Pelosi.
There's that tri-lane game I kind of wanted to see out of the Tiny here. Eventually get the connection. Now, brought some heroes off the map. You know the Queen is likely going to TP back bottom. You can look back towards mid here. Thankfully not looking into this lifesteal lane, but you can also bring XXS as Coco around. I think XG have more play options in this early game than Spirit do. Spirit, because the Ember's their big playmaker and he at the worst time, their options are pretty limited. Like it's going to Laurel and maybe trying to get him a power rune or fight around him a little bit, but you're more defensive oriented here for sure. You're looking for turnaround plays, levels on the supports especially. You have a couple of Grimoire charges from a Poshka, but they're now beating him mid lane on this Warlock, just trying to get the Golem online. There's a big spell in this game. This Golem interrupt on this mid TP gives you a lot more confidence to go with all of it.
Avalanche into arrow, loads into Azir, leveled up now that he's 4, but it is not good enough for kill. And collapsing his build. Wait, Lutzen, double leap on Starstorm.
There's that
because
deep
lane
lane
ward. It pays off. He finds the kill anyway.
Super good lane ward. That's exactly the ward I was calling for. Because these Blink heroes, you just force them to blink, they're going to hang around. They're going to mess lane up. You get them on the second path, and that's a big kickoff. Gives you more confidence to go in this lane. We'll give an earn charge to the Queen of Pain, which Vessel's almost done. Could be influential here, but I'm surprised we didn't see Ame slash that.
Meanwhile, Laurel has lost his tower. Did manage to get the deny on it.
Third ops kill head. That's a lot of gold next speed for XM. He's 9.5 here. He's a beast, man. See if they rotate this SF around the map at all. If they want to bring in top and try to kick the Leister out to put more tower pressure on this game, or just let XM continue to farm.
Avalanche, Requiem, they got it! No! They missed the Requiem. Laurel is going to slide off right as the Requiem went off. I did not think that the Tiny was actually going to get there for the toss. It almost felt like XM didn't believe in it either.
He did not. He needed to cast that earlier, and I think we all felt that GQ was not going to get there for that toss back. Get some power in here. Not the biggest cooldown. Up again in 100 seconds here. And again, you're shutting down the Ember. You're putting pressure on him. I don't mind that play. I don't mind it at all. Buying time for the Juggernaut. Just, I mean, what you got to do with this?
What's a Juggernaut build nowadays? He's going Battle Fury, so no one's seeing any of the Maelstrom Mjolnirs of some time past. But like, how early do you get aghanim scepter? Do you have any of these answers? Because we haven't seen Juggernaut in 15 years.
I mean, it's still Battle Fury Manta, and then you split it off. This is for sure a Manta game. There's a lot to dispel in this game. I still think Mjolnir is really nice on this hero. Just the attack speed damage in your Omni is insane. You can do the spin static charge as well. Kind of nice. Scotty, I'm sure, is back on the menu for this hero with the new Scotty. Used to be a pretty classic item, and we're seeing Scotty back into the meta in general, so I would not be surprised to see Ame go that route, as we saw him go that route when he went last game. But this is another game where if you just tank up and you can't get bursted by the Queen of Pain, your team fight looks pretty good.
No Infest available for Toro if they can somehow catch him without the rage.
There's no way. This Lifestealer is tough to bring down this game. You're gonna have to just do it in team fights.
I mean, don't they have the possibility though of forcing rage and then getting an X on him seconds later?
You can always infest though if you really
but I'm saying when he uses infest like that.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It's a possibility.
That was an aggressive gold drop.
Avalanche trying to cover him here. Arrow's going to be on the land. XM, no way out. Can't fight his way through. Managed to get one kill. Sonic Wave offside will help get an extra. Pelosin, they'll chase him down with a Remnant. Good use of the chain gang there. Laurel throws out the Remnant and catches him off the Remnant with the chains. 2 for 1. Very valuable fight for Spirit.
Okay, catching this SF while the Requiem was still 10 seconds off cooldown. If he could have just sat there and channeled, that's a very different fight. Spirit knew their timing. The aggressive goal chase off for Latoshka.
Dire's structure.
Actually managed to catch him without the mana to pop the rage. Rue for a snowball save here, but too much damage. Now Rue's going to be in trouble. Tossed up. Success, and Jin Q can probably just chase it to the ends of the earth. There's no save coming in anytime soon. Rue is just going to have to juke this one out. Does manage to juke the Torrent initially. It's hit by another round of Tidebringer. Blocks him out with the shard for a little bit. It's down river. Little loop-de-loop.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Cobalt caught to give him some move speed. They're fast here.
They're actually going to lose him here in the trees. I think he's out.
I mean, just get the tower, right? This is the bigger prize.
True. TVs are coming back in. Lifestealer's back into play.
Man, they could have just killed the tier 1 there. I think it was the better option.
Radiant's
all said and done. That's still a kill in the Lifestealer that just should not have happened in this early game. That's a huge find for XG, particularly for XSF, who's basically just playing up here solo.
I didn't realize Rage was so heavy on the mana cost. 120 mana? I think it used to be like 50, 75, yeah, in that area. All right, wow. 5-5, 1,000 net worth lead for Xtreme.
Open up more of a gap between Ame and that Lifestealer. Should expect the Battle Fury to come online, and it is online, in fact, faster than this Radiance for the Lifestealer. So you should accelerate a little ahead of him, so you can get some stacks going. Kind of where you want to be. You can get this Manta up fast this game. Really nice. Dispel the bonds, dispel the other bonds. As well as maybe a dagger from the Queen of Pain. Nice stuff to disjoint in this game, but the bigger thing is just keeping your SF alive. Like, I feel like a lot of this game centers around XM. Can Spirit push this SF down before he gets to play the long fight and output all the damage, or does he get kept alive by saves, boat rub, and healing ward?
Oh, straight up in the air is the arrow. Torrent off of that one. Well played by Xtreme. I was beginning to think the smoke wasn't going to find anything, but he managed to successfully catch Laurel again on the avalanche before he could jump away to his remnant. And they steal more ancient stacks. I feel like XG have put more experienced ancient stacks in the series. Cloud's trying to push him away with the Sonic Wave. Blink up, 6 seconds. It's going to be Omni Slash trying to bounce it over the replay, and does manage to do so successfully. He's going to be good for now. Meanwhile, that success, he's trying to help out XM. He backs away with the Requiem, managed to get the kill on Rue and not die to Toro, who's trying to get into the mix a little bit. surprisingly.
Wait for XG if they get out with everybody. Jinq can escape. Cobalt Cup, not enough to bail him out of that.
No.
Pro will get something for his trouble down here as he pushes towards that Radiance.
Now Xinq's turn to try and juke out in the trees. It does not work.
While your core's alive though, you pick up some more kills in the XF. You get 3 ults out of Team Spirit, right? That's Golem plus Sonic Wave used. Collapse is just not finding huge kills with the early fighting items between the Blade Mill and the Vessel on this Queen of Day. This is where you'd like to get more involved, taking over some of the early skirmishes.
So why don't I like Juggernaut, Avery?
Because you're a hater.
I think that on this last was a great example. You make sure that he's dead to rights, right? You caught him with the blink on cooldown.
Okay,
used your ultimate of your carry on him.
What other carry ultimate would have killed him there?
Other carries would have been able to kill him because, you know, they have things like stuns or they have better burst damage. They have facets that are useful.
There's facets that bad? That bad. Oh, the wall's dead. Xinq making some moves this game. Have a lot more early game impact than that Shaker. And another power room for XM. Yeah, says Maposhka. Your time has come. A couple more runes for you. Oh, the big one, haste as well. Look, I agree. Omni Slash is not the most reliable, but it has swagger.
I actually think it gives the enemy team swagger. Because I think if anything that was swagger there, it was Collapse having the wherewithal to walk back into his own creep wave, disengage the Omni Slash, and then walk away. I mean, I think Collapse looked pretty cool.
You forgot one thing though, Austin, as you usually do.
Okay.
Perhaps Ame instead. It is Ame after all.
It is Ame.
What is more important, KDA or CS?
Right, he was using Collapse to disguise the fact that he really wanted to Omni-Slash the creep wave, but his team would have been demoralized if he did that and reported him, so instead he bounced the Omni-Slash. Oh, what an arrow. That was pretty nasty. Sonic Wave will overwhelm him before the punch catches him.
It's the Gore Storm's time to shine, Austin.
It is.
Gore Storm, shit lizard running at you. Okay, it did not do a lot there.
No, it rarely does.
Dire are scanning.
This facet has to be a downgrade for the Lifestealer compared to the original HP buff. That was an insanely good facet.
The sad part is, this is the better of the two facets. So,
yeah. Oh, the mighty have fallen.
Really a battle of the trash carries here. Yatoro and Ame.
It really is.
Really tried. They're both hipsters in that regard. They both like playing the hard carries that are out of the meta.
Yeah, game one they had the T and the fight. Okay, we're gonna play with the tier 1 heroes. This game. No. If you were gonna play trash,
and one. And Maposhka. So a 4,000 net worth lead for Xtreme now.
And that's all before the tiny blink. That just arrived for Xinq. He's level 10. He's got blink. He's got tumbler toys. A greedy tumbler toy. This tiny is in heaven right now. He's having a really good game. He's about to Spirit across his map if they don't move up.
Yeah, if they catch Laurel here, toss him back into the Requiem.
That's the thing. This tiny is a threat to everybody. Cornero follow. Yeah. Nobody is safe in this game, so Spirit are really scared to go right.
These heroes, he's baiting him out. And the blink back from Collapse was caught by the smoke wraparound from XM and Flosen.
Oh, what a beautiful ultimate here from Ame, showing the power the Juggernaut Omni Slash that Austin does not believe in.
Yeah, and they'll stick with him again.
Can I get the spin on?
Locked in by the shards though, and beaten down.
Okay. That was incredibly well played by Spirit. Not an easy kill, but Rue hit everything at the exact right time and the exact right point. And these two supports will always have interrupts for this Juggernaut.
Throws out the Requiem. Eternal Sun coming. Already get the rage going. Avalanche trying to come top. XM trying to get him out of this fight. Down to Rue, but the heal's already gonna be able to outdo the damage. Team Spirits will be able to walk away with an XM scalp and not losing much for it either, finding Pelos in there as well. So,
value section
kills. Team Spirit bouncing right back.
Just a random sentry that happened to do it from earlier. About to expire now, but that is as good as that extra detection gets. Yeah, like you said, straight into Tormentor. See who gets the shard. It'll be, I mean, he deserves that shard. Pretty good sequence from him. Not the best early in 0-5 here, but the 9 assists have found their mark here. It started to. These supports clawing it back here for Spears.
And the faster he gets that blink dagger, the more impactful we may see him be, is then we would have a save mechanism, perhaps for some of these heroes that, as you said, everybody is threatened by the toss, whether it's toss an arrow or toss back into Requiem. Maybe he
Snowball could be big.
Yeah.
Could be really big. He does have to blink Snowball into Avalanche, Torrent Boat, Requiem, so there's a decent amount of AoE you have to go into here. Particularly that tiny matchup can be annoying. Yeah, but otherwise it's a really good Tusk game. You destroy the Juggernaut, you destroy the Shadow Fiend. You generally have a good matchup against the Kunkka, as long as he's not the one just randomly catching you first. Yeah, it's pretty rare. You're against all 3 cores here. This is kind of a dream Tusk game. You can get pretty farmed, and that'll be his blink done. I do like that aspect of Spirit's lineup here, but biggest concern for me is where the damage comes in if you're Spirit. If you can't get a good bonds or get dispelled, there's a lot of sustain in this XG lineup. Like, you have Hype Kunkka with both, who's going to have an Ags as well. You're going to have a BKB Shadow, and you're going to have the Juggernaut doing everybody up. Moonlight Shadow on top of it with auras for the Morana. You can eventually get the extra evasion on the Moonlight Shadow as well. There's a lot of just AoE HP to get through in this lineup. Yeah. It's scary, man.
That combination of percentage-based heal of the healing wars combined with the damage delay of the rum does sound really nasty.
No, it's good. It's good. And that's where I went, you know, the burst damage in Spirit's lineup. Do they have enough to punch hard enough in the onset of the fight to counteract that? Or does the fight always have to go long if you can't get the jump? And kind of the power of Morana. Like, this hero is tough to start fights against because you basically have twice the amount of smokes the enemy does. Like Shadow. You just go into an objective, or you can just pop the Moonlight and look again. You just have Moonlight for the fight here. That's a dodge for Ame. He feels strong to support the fight. The shield on XM as well. Huge here, considering his BKB is not done. It's a really nice point in the team for XG to try and force the 5-on-5.
That'll wipe him out. That's right. Gonna make sure they can't retreat in peace. He pushed them back in with a sonic wave. Toss up in the air onto the Queen of Pain, but it looks like they're just leaving the Kunkka high and dry here. He is going to be marooned out on an island and taken out. So the response is a Kunkka for a Tusk is the 1-for-1 trade-off there. They do not get to walk away with the Aegis, but I believe Team Spirit got the last hit on Roche. I think it didn't say snatch, so yeah.
Dropped those 2 blinkers in and got the job done. Huge plays from Spirit here. That was a tough fight to take head on. And we kind of see what their idea was, flanking an angle with the Queen of Pain, going into lane, looking for the Aegis snatch. They didn't want to just fight it heads up. And everything right there negated the timing advantage for XG. Could have been a pivotal moment for Ame in this game. Instead, did not get what he wanted there.
And Q, for a while he was working on the Blink Dagger, now has a 4-step. Does it save him though? X6 deep. I mean, they're diving in deep for this kill. They might get punished. XXS. We're gonna think about what he wants to X here. He's gonna go for Collapse. Collapse trying to fake him out.
Radiant's
Let's get pulled back into the air. Outside the torrent. Looks like, oh, the snowball save. Is that enough? It is enough. Collapse able to blink out. We'll go through instead, but with Yotaro running interference here, he's keeping Xtreme back and no punish, no dice. Get a kill.
Can't even chase right outside their base. Ame does not want to come to that exchange. Working towards the Ags will be his 3rd item of choice here. Wants an extra Omni Slash in these fights. Can't blame him.
Tower is under attack.
be done for XM might give him more confidence to go in for aggressive Requiems. It feels like Spirit, they whittled away that early lead that existed.
Aggressive deep ward there from Team Spirit. Spots out Xtreme, who
Dire's top tower is under attack.
pushing forward to defend their tower.
Radiant's bottom
A lot of scale in this Spirit lineup that's going to come from all three cores getting big. So off-lane Queen of Pain can continue to build into more core items and just ramp up the damage. We already see Octarine done for Collapse. Get that with some of the talents later on. This Sonic Wave is insanely low cooldown. You buff it up with Kaya, Spell Amp. You're dealing some significant DPS. And you're extremely tanky. Your HP is very high. You need to isolate core targets and bring them down with the chain stun potential. That's kind of what makes the lineup function. And then you present a situation where you take out one of the cores, Spirit don't have enough damage to punch through the rest of your survivability. Yeah. That's an ideal scenario, which is why we saw them forcing objectives. That's where Juggernaut can shine. You just sit in a pit or you sit in a tower with healing ward, make the enemy go on you, and you just kill that first guy who goes in. That'll work out well for you. We see Ag stuff from the MKB. Interesting choice. I guess the Radiant's Lifestealer is enough here.
The axe response from Yatoro with the Lifestealer. What do you make of that one?
Makes sense here. So I have not seen this build work out as well as it did at Yes. It doesn't seem as much damage. It doesn't seem as
Dire's top tower
just
is under
good based
attack.
on the general meta and how the other cores play around this hero, how much damage he has to offer versus how much just he can exist in the fight and be annoying. Logically though, it will work out here in terms of infest dodging a lot of what XG have. The extra cast range is nice. Going into the Juggernaut
Dire's
SF
top tower
has gotta
is
be
under
good.
attack.
Spirit. Everything available here.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Want to
attack.
start to use. Kind of an awkward time to smoke in this game, considering there's no real objective to get off it, but they'll get some deep wards and they can find Ame. That is an objective in its own.
And the shards, Ame's gonna find that most of his spin only protects him for so long. Force staff from Jinkyu gets him to the other side.
Radiant's bottom tower
Team
is under attack.
Maybe not have collected the kill, but they have
Radiant's
pushed
courier
Xtreme
has been
more and more
killed.
on the defense. They have such aggressive vision. This high ground ward on the triangle, 2 different wards on the bottom side of the map. They are just making sure that Xtreme is locked in a cage here.
You have to push out eventually here. I mean, you have the Juggernaut lineup. You can't be afraid to push waves and get the map in a favorable position for you. I guess you could say the same about this Lifestealer. How aggressive Yatoro is playing. Walking down mid completely alone. No fear in this man. Good reason. Actually, have not really made an enemy that first death we saw in the early game.
Yeah.
Here, classic. High ground ward.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
There goes your high ground ward scouting mechanism. Jinkyu will sacrifice his courier, but he will make the smoke play at the same time. Looking for an angle here. You have Gem,
Radiant's
KB on
top tower
XM.
is under
You
attack.
can follow up on pretty much anything here. Your team fight's online. It's just a matter of finding a hero to jump. Get that Juggernaut into some good DPS follow-up. Fight will work out for you. Going to their own wars. Nobody is even close to these.
Radiant's
On the side
top
of Team
tower
Spirit.
has fallen.
And ratted a little bit in this game. Between the Queen of Pain and
Radiant's top
Ember
tower
mobility,
is under
plus the
attack.
Lifestealer defensive capabilities, hard for X to find as large as the lanes are constantly getting pushed in. The aggressive is gonna so much info.
I think they really need that aghanim scepter.
Okay, that's fine.
That's a pick of Collapse. Here for the punish. Immediately jumps on the Jinkyu. Force staff him. Gets him out of the danger.
Surprised Spirit came back to that.
Yeah, I felt like they were getting the better of the map.
That's the different information they have. Where else are actually gonna be? They have a ward bottom jungle. They have a ward on their triangle. They had a ward on top lane. They had both the side lanes. Nobody showing on. Nobody showed on the mid lane. They're only gonna be in almost one spot. It's on your side of the map. Your triangle on the other side of the tower. Kind of a bad debt to give up there for your Spirit based on how much information you had to play around. And now you're going to lose some of it. Wards out of this gem on the Shadow Beam. You lost that triangle ward. You might lose that ward bottom. And this is all in the lead to that next Roshan, which both teams really want here. So losing map control hurts you a lot against the Mirana lineup that isn't going to be as dependent on the vision. You just pop the Moonlight Shadow. Asher done for Yatoro. That'll help him out a lot. He opted... Oh, he did finish the Ag. Okay, so that's actually off the Ag. He's pretty ripped here. Level 20 as well. All of these cores are getting big. A lot of damage to come out in these fights. It's just a matter of who gets the jump. That's what this game feels like to me.
I got a mechanics question for you.
Oh boy.
Aghanims infest on the Juggernaut. Juggernaut and Omni slashes. It's the Juggernaut disarm while he's doing these Omni slashes. You're not getting a chance to figure it out here. It's Ame. He pops the speed, but he's being quite controlled up. Next up coming in with that Requiem. It's just Xtreme all the way. Sonic Wave with the Fatal Bonds. It did a lot of damage. Ame does not quite go down though. He's gonna chase down this Warlock or dead on the side of Spirit. A big fight for Xtreme, but it was played right on the margins there. So close to Ame dying first thing.
Live and get that Omni Slash off, or you don't. As the fight won, he is just tanking enough to survive. Makes the world of difference there for XG. And the second you don't bring him down, all the survivability comes in. You can pipe him up, you can bow roam him up. There's going to be a little healing ward damage at Requiem to zone out some heroes.
What enchantment does he have? One that makes him tankier? Nope. Alert. Okay. Survive. Manta.
For Spirit, their chainsaw potential is pretty dependent on the supports here. In terms of your disarm question, that Axe does not disarm anymore.
Oh,
so it will not disarm him. I've answered your mechanics.
Maybe that's part of the reason why they feel so bad?
So, yeah, it definitely was a big nerf. Though I will say, even the old version, it disarmed the Jug for the attacks in between Omni, but I do not believe it stopped Omni.
Yeah, Omni has some basic attacks, yeah.
So you reduced it by... All I can think of, you're gonna really hate me for saying this, all I can think of when I see this Juggernaut Lifestealer matchup is that BSJ video. I'm sorry, but that's all that ever comes to mind. It's like, who wins in the Juggernaut Lifestealer matchup? It's that stupid meme video 8 years ago. He's gonna really hate the fact I brought up, but hey, Grandback, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Who really won from that video if you think about it?
I think Brian literally lost a bet, so I think he very objectively lost.
He lost a bet, but he won friends, Austin.
I don't think that's true either.
And that's what counts.
I think I'm friends with them in spite of that video.
Top tower is under attack.
Well, unlucky.
Work it done for the Kunkka. See if they can put it into play here as they 5-man smoke up. They are going to be playing into a high ground war. It breaks up the smoke and so okay, able to deal with this infested creep.
Just kill this thing. You don't want to stand up into the choke point. Not want to get baited by Yatoro in the golem.
Plus you're going to get gore stormed, you're going to get all that.
You gotta be wary of gore storm here.
Constantly fishing for openings here. And now the slash put to use onto Yatoro, but okay. Here goes the invest. He's going to reach out a little bit. Controlled up next. He can't get a kill out of this situation. Ame is spinning and dicing him up right now. Goes back to its remnant, but exits in on the other side to cut him down. Now it's a jump in. They were looking for as well. Spirit have been completely routed in fight after fight.
BSJ was right. That Lifestealer could not take the man fight. And max XS.
Oh yeah.
For collapse, did not expect randomization. Orchid on that life stealer on the second round. Mega value. And then he got another really good one on the life stealer in the second half.
Okay.
I mean, that already pays for the item, right? Like, normally we do not see these late game orchids pay off, but man, this just set everything up. And that snowball save, kind of the issue with it this game, you're good against everything, but not all together. Like, you dodge some AoE spell, you get hit by another. Just calamity in this team fight for Spirit, as they don't have enough to sustain along the cycle. Really nice win here for XG, as they're going to try and even out this series, and now they are in a really solid position to do it. Their cores are all scaling up. They have they have an Aegis on Ame. It's tough to see how Spirit win these team fights now. I mean, you are up against so much DPS between the two cores pack here for XG, and so much survivability between the Kunkka, the Pipe, the Mirana Greaves. There's just so many auras to play around with. Especially if you end up getting Blue Waker in this lineup, it's the one item I want to point to, because just to lose Vision out of here, Blue Waker was so good for XG in this game because of how dependent Spirit are at going in and bursting that first front line.
We are going to be dealing with this, what, 25-second cooldown or something like that on the Stonic Wave. Here, toss back into no stuns. There's the arrow this time.
Sure, the Sonic Wave's annoying, but what is Sonic Wave to a healing ward? Nothing. Shrugs it off.
That's true. Let's stay at two different lanes pushing it right now, so backdoor protection is going to fall somewhere. The mid and protecting the next incoming creep wave. Seems like they're going to give it to Spirit.
I don't think you can play without BTB on your Toro.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have a longer presence in the fight. Fine for the team. They brought it back before it. Defense collapsed. They already got
need some help. He doesn't actually get enough worse damage. That was going to be happening. It's up to Collapse and Laurel now to carry the rest of this fight. Except uses BKB. Now Collapse and Laurel trying to reset with their mobility. Lots of Pelosin on top of them, though. And Collapse getting a little bit low. He blinks away from XM. Got the chains on the Pelosin. Got that kill. He jumps away to his remnant. No Sonic Wave. Going to be put to use. They do have the heal. We're keeping XM alive. Not good enough. The heals are not good enough. And Collapse aims to get the kill. Meanwhile, what is happening with Ame? He's just getting around. I mean, is this worth the trade-off? Team needs help, but he just wants a kill. They're going to wipe out everybody else.
He's the carrier. I do not think this Rax is worth getting the fight in that fashion. You're Tiny just diebacked for that. You gave him the healing ward, but he's the carrier. You were the damage. You were the threat if the quad engaged. You gave a really nice cleanup for Collapse and Laurel on the backside of that fight after you basically won it. I guess one could also argue maybe you're not supposed to chase there. Yeah, your XG, right? Just go with Ame, go with his call.
Yeah, you could stay near your Juggernaut. You don't have to necessarily stay near you.
But you tried to get two things done at once and you paid a big price on that push. You get another lane, still have Aegis up. Juggernaut's still incredibly strong here. You threw away a little bit of that lead and you're giving Spirit some hope. Not a team you want to give hope to.
No. You're certainly not going to be able to get Megas with this Aegis. So
you have to go longer here. We also did see outward staff for your Toro. They got one at least versus Juggernaut, but that's about it. Pyrrhic Cloak as well. Would have liked to have seen more of those outworld staff, so particularly on the supports, because we saw that one Omni go through, it just diced both of them up on the backside of that fight.
Brawny Pyrrhic Cloak. That's spooky.
Yeah, especially on a hero like this, the amount of HP you can use to reflect back onto you. Pretty brutal here. And all these EKBs are arriving right now, so all these heroes are going to have a lot more sustain. I favor Spirit a little, as they've had some issues staying in the fight. As we saw there, if they can stay in it for the long haul, the Queen of Pain cooldowns can start to kick in a little bit. The Ember's already kicking. If you go back to base, you come back. The fact that Jin-Q die back there as well is really important, because it feels like this Tiny is holding the fight together for XG. He's your big jump, your big disable. He's spell combination that can set up the arrow or the Requiem, that can also set up the Omni. That controls what's going to let Ame have the confidence to throw the ultimate out and actually deal this damage. So really eyes on this Tiny. That is not a good situation for XG. You might even consider scaling if the go does not go Jinki's way. And make a smoke move. This is Swift Blink for Ame. Fills that Aegis slot. He is maxed, man. This is an insane amount of DPS. It also means he can insta-blink and Omni Slash a Tiny or a target that the Tiny finds. Very little time for Spirit to react there if you can get a Snowball Golem off. It's your best chance. You might not get it. That damage is incredibly fast. I'm looking for anybody right now.
Radiant's courier.
Not gonna find anybody though.
So
Team Spirit are grouped up, pushed into mid.
You can put the map pressure on Spirit here. You push this last lane in. The other two will naturally go in. Control the map that way, funnel them into your vision if you want to, or just play for that next Roshan.
Yeah, the last thing Xtreme want to be doing here is getting sucked into chasing Team Spirit into one of their high ground. Right? That's kind of the MO for Team Spirit for years at this point in time.
No way you do that.
They do have some decent high ground wards that they're trying to play around. Xtreme, very smart though. Push in the top lane, as you said. Force Team Spirit to come back. Now, once they see some of these heroes, they're going to smoke to the other side of the map, see if there's any lingering heroes. Anybody who's stuck around the map to farm. That would be Yutaro. If they can find him. It's going to be on the edges of the map. Yutaro's going to go through the gate? Or no, he might walk back into them.
He's gonna take the safe play, TP out.
Okay, good call.
There's a chance that smoked hit. I don't mind that smoke. It'll give him a lot of map control here. Another high ground ward of their own. That Spirit is gonna try and Carl did not expect the response to be that fast, and there's a gem down. Just like that map control for Spirit.
Just such a fast reaction. They're willing drops mults on it. Maybe not the Omni Slash, but they drop the aghanims and the Requiem there from XM. Big kill. Time to poke the background. Put this into a sight. Arrow doesn't actually land. Starts going for the buildings, can collapse, stop him.
That's the bomb. This Juggernaut, you just can't touch him. You don't have the ability to sit there and trade with him, and you can't shift it down. Ame stands tall. It's 8-1 and 15 for this jump pick that you despise so much. It has worked out so well in this game. I mean, it is a great jug game.
It's a credit to Ame as a carry player.
Make anything work. True.
Well, gotta play out for Megas. Collapse will successfully keep the game going. Surprising.
He's strong. This is part of the game where the Queen of Pain becomes a menace.
And Collapse made the call. I don't want to call it GG yet, guys. I finally got to the point where Pop's really fun to play.
This is a really fun point for the hero. It's also the point where I feel like if your other two cores were pulling their weight right now, it would push you over the top in terms of winning that scale compared to a lot of other offlaners in this situation, they're just not in the position for that to happen.
Yeah.
Ember fell too far behind. This Lifestealer has some tough matchups to deal with. Yeah, you can rage, you can BKB, but you cannot fight the Roach is normal. See what Spirit can do if they get some lanes out, whether they make some aggressive play for it. Go below potential. Everybody up.
Do you feel like the Manta changed anything for Yutoro, or level 25, for that matter? It feels like he just is completely ineffectual in these fights.
Just doesn't deal level.